Ciao, ni hao, yasu, bonjour, guten tag. My name is Lydia, and I'm your host of the Global Travel Junkie podcast, where we'll discover new luxury destinations and experiences together. So let's get started and meet today's guest. Hello, everyone. It's Lydia with the Global Travel Junkie podcast and YouTube channel. And today I'm excited to introduce you to our next guest. I have with me Valentin from Epic Bike. Hi, Valentin.
Hello. Nice to be here. Thank you for asking.
Nice to have you. So, where are you calling in from, Valentin?
Well, from heaven, if I can say that. I live in Tuscany. I live in Val di Chiana. The small village is called Castiglione Fiorentino, and it's away from Cortona. Maybe you know Cortona better, and also the
Yeah,
people
in
that watch us.
between Arezzo and Cortona, right?
It's like 10 minutes away from Cortona.
Yeah, and for those who know where Florence or Firenze is, it's about an hour south by train, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
We have the railway station right here.
Yes, there's a train station very close. So for any of you who've listened to any of my other episodes, I actually know Castiglione Fiorentino because I lived there when I was 21 years old. So Valentin and I have a connection, although he wasn't born yet, but when I lived there, so we established that. So anyway, we're talking to Valentin today because he has an exciting offer for travelers who want to come to Tuscany. So we're going to start off by having Valentin give a little background and introduce himself and let us know what he's doing today.
Allora, so I have a small company. It's called Epic Bike. From the name, I think you already guessed what it's speaking about. Actually, we do e-bike tours, e-bike experience in the Tuscan countryside. We don't ride our bikes only here in Castiglione Fiorentino, but we move where our clients ask for us. So we go from Arezzo to Castiglione Fiorentino, we go to Cortona, and this is in Val di Chiana, but we also move to the Val d'Orcia, like Pienza, and maybe Montepulciano, and in the Chianti region as well. We have tailor-made experience, so for this reason we are flexible and we move where people ask for us. But also we have some fixed tour, usually private tours, and we have like precise starting points. Usually it's a round tour, so the starting points meet the end point in the same way. And can I tell you how I start this business?
Yeah, tell us, please. We want to hear.
Well, in Castiglione Fiorentino, even if it's not Cortona, we still have some tourism. And usually also foreign tourism over the sea sometimes. And for me, because my English is not great, it was a perfect opportunity to try to speak English with the tourists because I was managing the phone shop, where you get the SIM cards and everything.
Oh, a phone shop. Okay.
Yeah. So people was coming to that place to ask like a SIM card for the internet connection on the period that we're staying here. And I was using this opportunity to try to speak my English. And I was always asking if they was visiting something here around. Maybe we have the castle here. We have the castle of Montecchio. It's a great medieval castle in perfect shape, 1012 years old, exactly, precisely. So it's amazing. It's a gem of Tuscany. But unluckily, nobody was going to see the view and the castle and everything. It's like, 8 minutes away by car. So I was asking sort of the same question to everyone that was a tourist, and I was wondering about they was watching. And the problem is people was curious about seeing stuff, but was nobody to bring them there. So they didn't know where to go to find a local to bring them there. So I do that for as much people as I could, and somehow in my subconscious mind, I understand that there is a need. And when I had the good moment, I asked to quit because I didn't want to quit just like that. I have like a strong connection with the people with I work from, and I didn't want to let them in the difficulties, with somebody less at the shop. And when was a good moment, I asked to quit, and I started this company to give like for the that kind of people that are curious about seeing the countryside, not like in a traditional way. You go to Cortona, you see the main road, you see the main piazza, and that's all. What I do exactly the opposite. We go around the town, we go to the top of the hill, we go to the countryside, we pass by the vineyard, we pass by the wheat crop, the gold one, the sunflower. We see the traditional white gravel roads from the Tuscany. We are across in Pienza. In Pienza, for me, it's a dream. Even for me, that I go there a few times. I mean, few times in a month. It's nice because it's unbelievable. We start from Pienza to go to San Quirico d'Orcia, are one of two important towns from the valley, from the Siena's countryside, and we across like three hills. We go down, we go up, we go down, we go up. So you can imagine how the territory change and the views and what we see in our meanwhile.
Yeah. Hey, let me remind everyone that he has electric bikes. Yeah. So when he's talking about going up the hill and down the hill and up the hill, because everyone knows that's ever been to Tuscany, that Tuscany has colline, which are
Bravissimo.
hills. Yeah.
Bravissimo.
And so the electric component of his bike tour is the part that I want everybody to understand. It's supportive. So we're going to get into, when he finishes introducing himself, we're going to get into like, what does that feel like? What does it look like? How does he make sure that everyone's comfortable and that everybody can do it? So I'll let you finish introducing yourself and then we'll go into the details.
No, you are 100% right. The e-bikes is like a normal bike. Nothing changed from normal bike. It's not like a motorcycle with the throttle that goes. No, the e-bike's gonna help your pedaling. You will feel when you hop on the e-bike, you'll feel like having somebody behind that is pushing you.
That sounds good.
The feeling is amazing because you also are able to select the level of the assistance from the e-bike. I can give you an example. Last year, I had two wonderful people, a couple. They were coming from Florida. Well, she was, I think, 75 years old and he was 82 years old.
Wow.
I got in love with these two people because the spirit, how active they was, how full of life, for me was something that impressed me so much that I will never forget them.
Yeah, you want to aspire to be that yourself when you're that age, right?
I would love to do that. I would love that. And but was great because they did like a long ride. They choose to do a long ride. They would do like 20 miles.
Wow.
And 20 miles is not flat. You have also some hills. You have some down. We took it as safe. I find the safest path, as I do for the every trails, actually, for every tours that I do. But they managed amazingly. So that makes you to understand that even somebody that is not really young can do it eccezionale. How do you say in English?
Exceptionally.
Exactly.
Right. I have so many questions. I'm sure my audience has questions too. Can we dive into the questions?
Please, will be my pleasure.
Okay. Did you say everything you wanted to say in your introduction about how you started the company? And
well, it was a need. I understand that people was missing that part. It was a shame that nobody was there available to show them. So I just come in the middle. I know that I'm not good for everyone because some people enjoy go tourism, like go in the main piazza of the town, and that's all. I'm okay with that. But for the other people that are curious and somehow
they want to explore,
exactly, I'm available for them.
Yeah. Hey, do the Italians come on your bike trips or is it just tourists?
I had some. Yeah. I had some.
Yeah, because they want to try the electric bikes. I mean, not everybody has a electric bike to ride, right?
In Italy here, everybody's a cyclist. Let's say like that.
Yeah.
So when you see in the Sunday morning ride, the 9 o'clock in the morning on the streets are only bikes. Looks
Uh-huh.
like in to be like in Amsterdam, something like
Yeah,
that.
but are they're pedal bikes. They're not electric, are they?
Some and some.
Okay. All right. All right, let's move into where I know the audience is wanting to know, like, how does this happen? So let's just pretend like I just found out about you and I'm going to schedule you for a tour, but I'm in my country and I need to reach out to you. And then what happens? Take us through the whole process. Like, someone just learned about you on my podcast. Now they want to schedule you. What's the exact procedure all the way through to us meeting you on the bikes or with the bikes? Okay, let's give people the experience.
Well, it's pretty easy. I have on my website epicbike.it. I have all the tours that I'm available, but also I have a contact form for the people that maybe doesn't really have a car booked or are living not in Pianza but in Montefolonico, that is the town on the next hill or something like so. For a tailor-made situation, I have also that situation on, and on my website is the mainly my booking page, but I also am available on Airbnb Experience and Viator Experience as well. Over there, my prices have to be a little bit more expensive because the commission on this portal is kind of high.
Yeah.
But and also I work with travel agents. Also, them they book for me for them clients. So you just have to want, and you're gonna find me.
Okay, so once we contact you through your website, which is with a preferred way that you want people, right, to come
Yeah,
to you, is
yeah.
direct, then do you coordinate with them? You start emailing with them because you told me that you have to see what their height is. And why do you do that?
We have a portal. We have a portal where you find the availability on the period that you stay here for the date that is good, the date that's gonna work for you. And over there, you can choose if you want it in the morning or if you want in the afternoon. Because I didn't tell you, like a side story, I have to tell this. I have two kind of tours. The short ones, like 3 hours, 3 hours and a half, something like that, and only the bike ride. At the end of the ride, you have a refreshing surprise. That's the nice part. And we have the long tour. The long tour is between 5 to 6 hours, and over there we go to visit a local winery, and you have like a wine tasting with a winery visit, and you see the fields over there, and you have a wine tasting and a light lunch with local products. So that one, we start from a parking spot, for example, where you come with your car, for example, or where we meet, doesn't matter. And at the last part of our tour, we're gonna stop at the winery. You have your time over there with the people from the place. I'm gonna wait for you, and then we hop on the bikes to go back to the starting point.
Wow.
That's a long tour.
What is the amount of people that you can do something like that with? What's the max?
Well, I don't really have one. For example, last week I had a tour of 18 people.
Wow.
Last Yeah, I'm
You
not
have
the
that
only
many
one.
bikes or do you rent them?
I go to find them. I have some bikes I have few bikes on myself, but when I'm not enough here in the Val di Chiana, I know the people that do renting, so I go
Okay.
them and prepare the bike. I mean, actually, when somebody's booking me, he has to think of nothing. So on the portal, he just give me his availability on the hours that he prefer and everything. And the only request that I have to know the height, because by the height of the people, I know what is the bike that's gonna suit for him. And after that, I think to everything. At the starting point, I bring the helmets. The safety is very important. For this
The
reason, also,
helmets. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the bike helmets. I bring your proper size of the bike and the weight that for the 3 hours, if you do the short ride or the long ride, doesn't matter, you're gonna stay comfortable in the bike. I also have the cushions on the seats, for example, because you're gonna stay a few hours over there, so it has to be soft and gentle on your ride and everything. And I think about everything. I have a story about that. Last year, I had a tour with. Can I show you some pictures?
Yeah, let me pull them up.
Last year on August 15, here in Italy, it's a big holiday. I got some people from Canada that booked me in one of my tours actually and we start from them villa because they were living here in a big villa, very pretty, in between Castiglione Fiorentino and Cortona. So we start from the villa, but the real stuff was this one. Actually, this one maybe, yeah. It was 15 people, but of these 15 people, 7 of them was child.
Wow.
So as you can see them, we found them the small e-bikes for them. But even prettier here, Oli was the name of the child over here. I remember him. And he was too young for riding an e-bike, so he had the bike trail over here. So his father was bringing the bike with the child attached on it. It was so much fun. It was so nice. So here we're on the trail of the Bonifica trail. You see the e-bikes and everything's running well. Here we stop because this is the Leopoldina, like a side story. We live in the Val di Chiana. Val di Chiana in the past used to be a swamp. When they drain away the water, Medicis somehow wanted to leave a mark on the territory. So they create this kind of Medicis villas.
Wow.
This is a UNESCO heritage only from Val di Chiana, and it's called Leopoldina because here they have a big room over here. That's another story.
Can people go in there? Is it
No.
locked?
That is locked.
Who
But
owns
it's
it?
enough because we can stop here, and as you can see, this one they have the project to restore it. So I have the picture how it's supposed to be when it's gonna be on.
Wow, what are they gonna turn it into?
Well, it's supposed to be at the end of the COVID, but because the COVID, everything got locked. So no, how do you say cantiere?
I don't know. I don't know that word.
Building site. There is no building site.
Oh, okay.
Because COVID and everything, nothing starts. So I don't know. I hope that in near future they're gonna start to restore it because they just started at the beginning here. This room over here is called the Limonaia, the lemons room. Because here, imagine yourself that you're in the flat or everything. So this was the villas where the managers of the lands around used to go in that big room over here to watch over if workers was living. But has also some secondary uses, this room, like a lemon room, because during the winter there's the warmest spot and everything. So we stop there. I tell some stories to the people. They're always curious because
how old is that building? What is the Medicis were from what, the 13th century or something?
Not really, because in that area used to be a swamp. So when they start to drain away the water from the area, they start at the beginning of the 18th century. So I suppose that they have like 200-300 years, nothing more.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I think it's like that.
So it's not that old.
Not really, not this price. So this is like a villa of the workers. You see the big gate over here.
In comparison to other things in Italy, it's not that old.
No, it's not.
Maybe. Yeah.
We have the castle. We have a medieval castle right here in between Castiglione Fiorentino and Cortona. Is 1012 years old, and it's a gem of Tuscany. It's magnificent.
Yeah, I think aren't there some Etruscan paintings and stuff in there too?
Yeah. Should be.
Awesome. Did we go through all your pictures?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, cool. I'll bring us back on and we'll continue. Okay, so I have some questions. So what is the youngest and the oldest that you've been able to take on your tours? So people get a perspective.
The oldest was around 80 something and was fine.
And they had their own bike, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
They weren't in a chariot.
No, wait. I sorry. 80 something, 80 to 83, something like that. The oldest.
Yeah.
The youngest, well,
like you have the little seats, right? Don't you have bike seats?
I think 2 years and a half.
Okay, so a toddler.
Yeah.
Okay, someone walking. Yeah.
What mean do you walk?
Well, I mean, meaning like a baby that's already walking.
Ah, yeah, that's true. I
Yeah.
have a booking for this year. Is 14 years old, 14 months old.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
So that's probably
Well,
not even
but the
walking.
bike seat is good because it has like the seatbelt, so
Yeah, and
we
they
can
have the
stay a lot.
helmet and everything. So anyway, so it's I'm sure it's safe. Okay, so let's talk about I'm sure people are curious about some adventures. So you told us about the one with all the kids and the
Yeah.
8 adults and tell us of something exciting that you've seen when you take these tours. Like we just talked about the Medici building, but I mean, what else do you come across when you're driving through the Tuscany countryside?
Well, I think every time that we ride is something different because I have the luck to people ask me to go in different locations. So I'm not doing the same tour every day. So I go to Cortona, I go to Pienza, I go to Montepulciano, Castiglione Fiorentino. So I'm always moving where people are asking for me. And every tour we have something different. We could pass by the countryside and we see the elephant garling that's originally from Val di Chiana. And people just got amazed because the elephant garling is huge and is different from normal garling. Otherwise, when we go to the Pianza, to the Sienna's countryside in Val d'Orcia, we see the wheat crops and we see all the hills. And now, for example, the wheat are green, it's still green, it's not gold yet. And when it's windy, you have all the wheat, how it's going wave like a sea wave. So you see these hills like on the sea, and
Oh, it's
it's
moving.
it's a dream. I have a side story again. I didn't told you something. When I started this building, it is company I started like last year, in but it was kind of light. The season was around June, July, something like that. So I don't have that many stories, but I have one that kind of keep for always in my heart because I gonna show you some pictures.
Oh, you're gonna
And
find some more? Okay, let me
yeah,
go there.
it was two ladies. She's mother and she's a young child, and we had the tour from Piazza, and we start late because they can I think got the wrong direction, something like that from the sat navigation. So they come like an hour late, something like that. So I wait for that, wasn't a problem. But we made the tour a little bit shorter in the way that when we are back at the starting point, we had the line and everything. Even if we have lights on our bike, so it's not a big deal. But for to be safe at 100% as I can. But when we were traveling back to Piazza, as you can see, there is Piazza over here. You can see from the white marble stone tower. So here we are coming from San Quirico, that is this direction, and we are at the sunset and traveling down of these hills. You see how we are going down on the hill over here, and now we have to go up by here. The light and everything was a dream, but we see animals. We see like few deers. This was jumping over the fields over here. Here, as you can see, this is gold. This is still wheat over here.
It was
So you
like,
can
not
imagine,
me.
yeah. So you can imagine the deers just jumping around these crops over here. We saw some rabbits, some wild rabbits as well. And I don't remember if that time we see a wild boar as well. I don't remember exactly, but just the deers. I mean, you're in the Val d'Orcia and you're at the sunset hour. So just let me show you some other pictures. Check this out. I'm sorry. Well, check this out. The view over here and the cypresses and the hills and the light and the sunset is everything is magnificent. Check the colors.
Look at those trees. I heard those were back when I lived in Tuscany, they called them the Christ trees.
Cool. I didn't hear about that ever.
Yeah,
I know the
yeah,
stories about his tree, many stories about it. Actually, the Eduardo that you meet, he told
yeah,
me some stories. Actually, we have them around the cemetery.
yeah.
They have it's a big story about that. But the way that the Catholic people are watching. When you go to the cemetery, you remember, you go to think about people that don't have anymore, and you love them and was close people. And thanks to the shape of the cypress that is straight up, and you have all around the cemetery every time for a specific reason, they see it like a portal that bring your thoughts up to the sky.
Oh, to the heavens.
Because the precise shape and going, I think it's very romantic way to see
In
it.
cielo.
Nel cielo,
Yes,
bravissimo.
yes. Wait, I just want to make this one comment. Going back to, you were talking about the deer and the rabbits and the animals, and it reminded me of one time when I was there. We were running around in cars in the countryside in the nighttime, and that's when I learned what Biancaneve was. I could not for the life of me figure out who is Biancaneve. Biancaneve. And it's basically the name for Snow White. So when you were, so Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs of Disney. Yeah. So when you were talking about the deers and the rabbits, it reminded me of Biancaneve.
That's a nice way to think. Very pretty. Very pretty.
Yes, Tuscany is a wonderful place for Biancaneve. So let's see. Is there anything else? We're coming up on 25 minutes. Is there anything else we want to share with our audience about your epic bike tours? I want to remind everyone that in Italy, the endings of the websites are typically .it. So he said his website was epicbike.it, correct?
That's great. Correct.
Okay. So for any of you who didn't hear that, I wanted to let you know. He's also on Instagram if you want to follow him, right? Are you at Epic Bike on Instagram?
I think it's actually the same. It's epicbike.it on Instagram as well.
Okay, good.
So epicbike.it.
Okay.
What can I say? If you have if you are curious about seeing stuff that you are not seeing normally and you want to see some adventure, doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, doesn't matter how physically prepared you are.
How fit, we say fit, how fit you are.
It doesn't matter. You just have to need the want to put yourself in the game. Is that good? Is that a good English?
You just got to want to play.
I think this one, but not because I'm doing that, but
it's an experience.
Exactly. The emotion that you get by being there, but also when you made all the way up and you see how much route you made, give you very emotional to yourself, because you are very proud about yourself.
Yeah.
Because not also what you see, but also what you did. It's something unbelievable.
What you accomplished.
Exactly. That's the word that I was missing.
Yeah.
The accomplishment.
Yeah. And I mean, I love your name, Epic. If you think about it, I mean, basically it's an epic adventure for you to choose to go on an epic bike ride through Tuscany. I mean, this is like a bucket list thing that you're going to remember when you're old and gray and sitting in your rocking chair. You're going to think about what are the different ways that I really lived. And when you remember how you did that epic bike tour in Tuscany and saw all those amazing things and all the places. And I will tell y'all, my favorite time, if I ever come to see Valentin for an epic bike tour, I'm going to come in the early parts of the summer when the when the sunflowers are 7 feet tall. They're huge. And there's just rows and rows, and you can get out and walk in between the fields, and the sunflowers are way over your head. Do you have any pictures like that?
I'm watching.
Let's pull that up, because that's a memory that I have, because I was there.
Give me 1 second, and
so
I have
is it July? Is it July or June when you can do that?
I actually have the exact date because I have some pictures from that period.
Yeah. So that would be my dream, is to go back, because ever since I lived there and had that experience, I have always loved sunflowers. In fact, if you can see behind my head, I have a sunflower right there on my shelf that represents my love for Tuscany and the
Can,
sunflowers.
can I show you some pictures?
Please. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh, they're not quite as big as hold on a second. Let's get this up here. They're not quite as big as what I remember, but they're growing. They're getting there, right? Because when we stepped into the sunflowers, they were way over our heads.
This is July. This is July 17.
Yeah. I must have been on a bigger field.
Yeah, could be.
Or because I was 5'4", so they were above our heads, but also, the fields change. Like when you keep growing things over and over, so you've got to keep the soil nutritious to get the vibrant, but they're beautiful. Look at that. How beautiful is that? I mean, that just looks like a movie.
You see the bright yellow over here.
That just looks like a movie. I so want to come take a epic bike tour now that I've seen these pictures.
Well, I wait for you.
One day I am coming, but I'm got a few things I got to do first before I get back there. So anyway, this has been such a joy. Let me get us back on the screen here. It's been such a joy to meet you, and you have such a great personality. And I can really, when you speak, I can really feel your heart is in it, and that you love people and you love what you do, and you really want people to have an epic experience. Like you were the giver of excitement and exciting bike tours. So if anyone's looking to, one of the questions I had that I didn't get a chance to ask is how far will you take your bikes to go somewhere? If somebody has a custom request to tour around a certain area, what is your parameter, your borders, that you don't go past this region or you won't go past that region? Like, tell us what you're willing to do.
I usually go around 1 hour from Cortona, Castiglione Fiorentino.
Okay, that's your radius.
Yeah, something like that, because longer distance is too much.
Yeah, I know.
Because sometimes, I don't know, maybe I have to prepare the bikes for the next day, from the day after. So if I go too far distance, and also I want to be, I don't want to charge so much the price for I want to stay ethical,
affordable. Yeah.
Yeah, but also ethical, because I don't want to charge like 500 euro, a ton of. I don't like to do that stuff. I have the precise price, and I know my limits.
Yeah.
So I stay in that range for that.
Yeah. And so have you ever done a tour? I know Sting has a house over there.
You knew that.
Have you ever taken a tour of anyone like famous yet? Or do we have a goal for you?
I don't know.
Did you know that Sting has a house over there?
I do know that.
Yeah.
But the problem is I had many persons, and I'm gonna say something, but that doesn't mean it's something.
You don't always know them, right? You don't always know them or how famous they are, right?
I don't care about that, because I bring the same professionally. It's something big words, but I like to connect with people, with the ones that are available to do that. I can give you an example. Last year, it was a couple of two adults, two big person. It was very nice to speak with them. And this guy, a gentleman, he was very, very intelligent. He comes from Los Angeles. On our e-bike tour on Cortona, he found out like 14 different species of butterfly. I have another one that was telling me, I speak about economics because it's my passion, and this guy was very smart on that stuff. He didn't tell me what he was working because he was kind of deviating my question. So I understand that it's something that I don't have to ask. But so I'm just imagining that I can find people from, for example, I had another person that it was I think famous, was important for sure, because he was like a chairboard member to a very, very big multinational. So didn't change for me because I bring the same professionality, and
absolutely,
if they are available to connect, as you can see, I like to speak. I want to tell something before we land. You speak before about the excitement that I have and everything. Well, this is nice, but also I have my moment where I have to be very focused, and I have to be less friendly. I have to be serious because at the beginning of every tour, we have like 10-15 minutes of briefing when I speak how works everything about the fitment the bikes, what breaks on the bikes they have to use, how to change the gears, how to some rules, that everything works safety. Because people that come with me usually are people from very far distant place, and to ruin the holidays is take like 1 second. So for me, it's very important, and I have to be
Safety.
very conscious, and also I give them the conscious that it's nice to have everything, the sunset and the flowers, but we have to be safe every time. So yeah, I like the excitement to ride and everything, but when we have to stay serious and we have to pay attention, that's another stuff.
Right. And that you were telling me before, that's a really big part of what you're doing is keeping everyone safe on the tour.
Yeah.
So you're always looking out you're not at the front of the thing, you're at the back, right?
No. Depends. If
Okay.
it's a big group, we have many guides. I'm not the only one.
Oh, okay.
So usually we have radios when it's a big group. So I stay in the middle to be like a jolly. In Italy, we call the jolly is the one that is good to everything.
Yeah.
So when I'm in the middle, I'm able to check in the front and check in the back and to see everything's fine. But when it's a small group, I stay in the front. And because in the front, you're open the way, and I'm always watching behind. So to have everything in my reach, because if the group go too fast, I don't have to go too fast because everyone has to stay in a group. If the group grows too slow, I know that I have to give some distance to them. Always about speaking safety reasons. These are just safety reasons that nothing happened on my tours, and I don't want to start tomorrow.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it has been a joy speaking with you today, Valentin. So fun. And I hope that we've inspired everyone to pick a Tuscan bike tour, an electric bike tour once in their life. So if you have a plan for that, call Epic Bike .it and find Valentin and his team, and he can coordinate bike tours for you. So thank you for being on the show, Valentin. Do you have anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
Actually, I have to thank you. And I didn't expect to bring to open with big. Here we say with braccia aperte. So available to my stories and to what I do. So I'm gonna thank you for that. It was a pleasure for you.
So a braccia aperto means open arms. That's what he's saying, right?
Exactly.
He's saying he wasn't expecting to be received by this episode, this podcast by me with such open, warm arms.
Yeah. That's true. Exactly. That's
awesome. Well, I actually feel like I have a little bit of Italian in me. So that's what you're feeling is the warm, open heart of an Italiana. A wannabe. I'm an Italian wannabe.
You are going great. And whenever you want, I think you're going to find something here, a small house where to retire to. It will be so fun. So
I will be
whenever
there.
you want,
I will be there. That's why I'm building this podcast, so I can travel the world and explore more places and introduce the world to more exciting, epic adventures.
It will be amazing. It will be amazing.
All right. We'll see you later. Ciao. Arrivederci.
Ciao, ciao.
We hope you enjoyed the show today. And if you'd like to be a guest on the Global Travel Junkie podcast and YouTube channel, reach out to us at our Contact Us form at globaltraveljunkie.com. We hope to see you out traveling. Adios. Ciao. Au revoir.